Hey bunny, hey bunny, welcome back to my channel. Hey bunny, oh my goodness, I've been trying to record this intro for so long and I'm struggling. Ugh, okay. Hey bunny, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are here for the first time. My name is Honey and I do videos on basically adulting. I do videos on my experience being hard of hearing, aka deaf. And yeah, I do pranks, I do fun videos. I'm really fun, so hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification so you get notified every single time I post a new video. So normally I post videos 3 times a week, but as of lately, like the past month, I've only posted twice a week or sometimes once a week. I never miss the Thursday's video. Like Thursday, that is my upload day. Like I will always have a video up on Thursday. But I've added 2 extra days. But now the thing is, I'm staying with my mom and my small sister, and so I don't get time to sit down and record videos without them having to stare at me. So yeah, we'll be cutting down the upload days from 3 times a week to 2 times a week. So turn on the bell notification so you get notified when I'm posting a new video. Thursday, we are obviously gonna have a video, but we might have another video any other day of the week. So join the family, hit the subscribe button, turn on the bell notification, and if my voice sounds raggedy, whatever, just know that I'm having allergies, and so I don't know what's happening to my voice and my nose and everything. The allergies are just getting to me, so that's that. Let's get into today's video. I've been talking for way too long. Okay, so today's video, I'm basically going to share my experience after graduation. I have been out of university for how many years now? 2018 was my last year of university, so 2019, 2020, 3 years, going on to 3 years now. So 2 years going on to 3 years. And I did a video on choosing the right university for you, and last night I think I got a comment on that video of somebody asking me about like, hi, I am doing insert a question here, I'm doing environmental studies, and is it how, like, will I be able to get a job or not? And I was like, there is so many people that are still in university now that are watching my videos. Like my audience, or the people that are watching my videos, mainly are either people that are still in university or people that just recently graduated. And so I was like, what if I shared my experience with anyone out there, and just, you get an idea of the whole life after university? Because it's like when you're in university, you have this picture, this glamorous picture of what life is going to be after university, and it just ain't that. At least not for everyone. For some people, yeah, but it's just not that for everyone. Someone is calling me. I think I need to start putting my phones on flight mode. Okay. Why are you calling me? Like, people are in the university and they're clueless, or they're having this idea that after they finished with university, there's gonna be this perfect job waiting for them, and it's gonna be easy, and you're just gonna get a job, you're gonna get a car, you're gonna be rich and whatever. But that is just, well, at least not for everyone. That is like the opposite. For some people, not even for some people, but for most people, that's the opposite. That's not what happens after you graduate. It's like the hustle literally just starts right after you graduate. That's when you experience real life and the real situations. So yeah, I thought I would share my experience of like what happened to me after university. And so, my experience might not be your experience, and it might not be someone else's experience, and in the future I might get someone else to share their experience as well, and I'll just ask them a few questions and so about their experience. But right now I'll be sharing my experience and how that went for me. So yeah. Okay, it's gonna be more like a story time thing. So grab your tea, grab your coffee, popcorn, whatever it is you're watching this video with, and yeah, let's talk about that. So I graduated in Okay, so I finished university in 2018 and I graduated in April of 2019. And so basically between the time of December 2018 and April 2019, then I was like,
recent graduate, looking forward to graduation. And
honestly speaking, not having a job then wasn't that big of a deal. Like, I was still having something nice to look forward to, that thing being graduation. And so I would look for jobs from here and there, but it's like you're just not getting anything, so you're like, like it didn't hit as hard because you're like, yeah, it is what it is. I can't expect to get a job just right after university. I mean, like within the first 3 months or whatsoever. So yeah, I waited, I looked for jobs, I couldn't get a job, and I think in January and February I was staying in Gagara with my mom, and then in March, in March, I've decided to come to Vendu because I was like, what, looking for a job while Gagara, sending CVs and stuff like that. It's just not happening. So let me go to Venduk. I don't even know who said that being in Venduk was gonna get me a job, but like, yeah, let's go to Windhoek. Okay, so I came to Windhoek and I was staying with my mom's sister at the moment. Still looking for a job, still not getting anything. Applying for teaching posts. Oh yeah. So some people will be in university or just recent graduate and they will not want to apply for anything that doesn't have anything to do with what they studied for. But you're sleeping. Like, apply for whatever job is available, because getting a job in the first place is just hard. It's hard. So if you see a CV for, I'm not a CV, but a vacancy for a job that you qualify for, but it's not necessarily what you studied for, apply. Just go ahead and apply. Anyways, I was applying for teaching posts. Nothing was happening there because obviously there were way more education students, and I think it's just logical that somebody would take somebody that did education rather than somebody that didn't do education. So no jobs, no job interviews, nothing happening in their department. But we're in March now, approaching April graduation day. So it didn't really matter, or it didn't really affect me as much, because I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get a job, I'm gonna go for graduation for now. So you were worried about getting your hair done, getting the right hair, getting the right outfit, getting the right shoes for graduation and all of that. That's what you were worried about. Like, at this point, it didn't matter. Okay, and then so let me just include this. If you did GIS, I don't know why that was the thing, but if you did GIS, it was kind of like NSA was the place for you to apply. And for me, I somehow just would put it on the side. Like, everyone at that point has submitted their CV at NSA, but I have never done it. Like, I have no idea why. My mom would always be like, honey, go submit your CV at NSA, but I just never did. Like, I was like, yeah, I'll get to it, but I just never did. So I never submitted my CV to NSA at the point. So I was like, yeah, graduation came along, we went for graduation, and then on that day of graduation, like, my classmates literally got phone calls from NSA. So it's like some got their phone call the day before, some got their phone call while at the ceremony, some got their phone calls like the day after, and people are getting phone calls from NSA like, yeah, we're having this wada, so come for an interview. I'm like, So at this point I'm like, honey. Like, I was beating myself. I was like, why have you never sent your CV to NSA? Because, like, they were calling anyone, and I was like, you know what, if my CV was there, then I would have been called as well. So I was like, I wish I would have done that. But I didn't, and I was like, yeah, it is what it is. Like, we haven't applied for that, so yeah, it's what it is. And so obviously never got the phone call from NSA because I never applied. All my classmates pretty much got a job at NSA. That was in April, towards the end of April. No, not end, towards the beginning of April. So they all got a job at NSA, and so most of we only graduated 7 at the time. So 5 of them, I think, 7, Okay, so four of them got a job at NSA. Then the other one I think was at Senorate or Namwata, and then the other one went for research things, and then it was me, and also three. And then the other one was like working at a kind of like a small company that also did GIS. So I was like, at the point I was like literally the only one without a job. And I was like, and that's when it literally starts to hate you, and you're like, ooh, honey. But I was like, you know what? I was still positive. I was still like, yeah, my job will come with its time and whatnot. But it's like, you know, that's when reality starts to hate you, and you're just like, oh, child. But yeah, this is when it comes down to the lesson. There was like, just don't compare yourself to others. Just because your opportunity didn't come now doesn't mean it's not gonna come. Just don't. Anyways, depression was starting to hit in. That's when Zali, they behind me, is like, yeah, honey, graduation is over now, so if you don't get a job now, we'll be going back home to Kakarra. And I was like, oh no, like I don't want to go back to Kakarra. But I was like, what am I doing in Windhoek anyways? I don't have a job, but like I don't want to go back to Kakarra. I don't know why I didn't want to go back to Kakarra, but I didn't want to. So I would be applying for jobs or whatever. And now one of my friends that got a phone call to go work for NSA was basically doing an internship at another company. And so when she had to leave to go to NSA, she was like, she told her boss that, no, I have a friend that also did GIS that can basically come in my place. Basically, that's how I got all my jobs, by the way. It's like in this industry, okay, we'll get to that. Let's not get confused now. Okay, but so she called her boss. The boss was like, okay, cool, fine, call her in. And literally, this was the day before the day I had to leave to go to Agakara, because my mom was like, girl, you don't get a job now, you're going home. So this was literally the day before I had to leave to Agakara. And she calls me and she's like, oh honey, as you know, I'll be going to NSA to start working at NSA. So I was working at this other place as an internship, and maybe you can go there in the meantime, it's an internship. And I was like, yeah, internship, so like, yeah, she gives me the her boss's phone number, and she's like, no, you can give him a call. And then I call, and he's like, yeah, I'm busy right now, I'm in town, something like that, but I'll call you back at this time. And then I'm like, okay, cool. And then I think I was in town, and I was just walking around. Yeah, I don't know what I went to go do in town, but I was in town. And then I get a phone call from Helene's boss now, and he's like, yeah, we are a consulting company, we do A, B, C, and D, and yeah, if you are interested in doing an internship with us, you can come to my office tomorrow. Are you available tomorrow? Like, yeah, sure. Okay, cool, come tomorrow for an interview. And I'm like, okay, fine. I go home. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going home. I'm going to the Carrara. Finally have an internship. Like I don't have to go to the Carrara. And that was like towards the end of April now. So yeah, the next morning, get dressed, all cute, and I go for the interview. And so I got there. It wasn't even an interview, to be honest, because I got there and he was just asking me questions about myself, like, what is your name, what did you do your research in, I think, like what are you doing or something like that. And I think at the time being, like, I've already done my research, but my research was chosen for publication, so I was working on it, like I was working on the publication. So yeah, so I was like explaining that to him, and he's like, okay, cool, yeah, we can start tomorrow. I'm like, okay. Yes, finally have an internship. So I come back home and I'm like, take your bags, go alone to my mother now. I'm not coming along, I got a job, I'm staying, I don't have to go with you. And yeah, so that was the beginning. So this internship, you guys, was like, it was an internship. So for somebody that was living with my mom's sister rent-free, basically, I would help with like buying food and stuff like that, but that was about it. what I had to spend my money on. So not even my money. I wouldn't even. You see, you guys, internships don't pay. Like for that internship, I was literally getting paid $1,500. Like that was my salary. And also, to be honest, like I would be at work, and there'll be no work. Sometimes I would just be sitting there watching YouTube videos, and I'm like, yeah, is this my life? But then there were times where it got hectic and there would be work, and then I would be doing work. But like for most of the time, I would just go to work, answering phones, responding to emails, looking for vacancies for my boss. Since they were consulting companies, I would be looking for procurements. What do they call them? I'd be looking for those things, man. And then eventually I was like, you know what? I'm tired. I think it was beginning of April. It was like mid-April when I started working there. And I'm like, you know what? I'm always at this office and just watching YouTube videos. Like, what if I started my own YouTube channel? So yeah, I was brave. I started my YouTube channel, and that was basically the one thing that kept me busy and kind of happy or whatever. But yeah, we were still thinking about that, looking for a job and not getting a job, but you're just hustling for that job. But okay, so and then I think around June, July there, things happened, and I had to move out of my mom's sister's place, and literally I had to start renting my own space. Now imagine somebody that's only getting paid 1,500. Like, what type of room can you afford in Windhoek? Like, that's a topic for another day. That's a video for another day. Like, rent in Windhoek is expensive, ridiculously expensive. But I was like, you know what, it's life, it's situation, things happen, and I need to find a place to rent. And so luckily my mom pitched in for me, and she was like paying my rent for me. So I got an inside room for $1,500 so per month now, including water and electricity. And imagine that's basically my whole salary. So my mom would pay for my rent, and then I had to pay for taxi to work from that 1,500, and then buy my cosmetics and groceries. And it was enough. I was happy, not necessarily happy, I was still looking for a job and I was still going through it, but I was like, you know what, at least I have a roof over me, I have food, I have a way to go to work, and it is what it is. And so sometimes also I wouldn't pay for a cab to work, because one of my colleagues used to literally I used to stay in Chomise, and she used to stay in Sivedeland or Achterland, one of those areas there next to Chomise. So she would and she had a car, so she would drive from there, pick me up at the four-way, and then we go to work, and then we come back from work together. Or sometimes I used to play netball at the time, so sometimes I'll go for netball training. Like, I never used to miss netball training because that was a way of saving kept money for me. So I'll go for netball training, the bus would pick me up from work and then drop me off at home after training. So that was the life. You guys, it was not easy. It was not easy. And then June, July, August, September came along. Is it September, October? When did I get August? It was September or October. I don't remember exactly when, but I got robbed basically. So we went through the home invasion situation where we were living, and so it came to that point where I'm like, I can't live in that place again, because I was scared. Like, I was always scared, I was always having PTSD, and I just couldn't stay there. So we started looking for another place for me to move to. And at this point, I don't know what was happening at my company. Like, yeah, other things were happening on the other side, and unfortunately my boss at the time couldn't afford to pay me on time, or sometimes, like, I think there was the whole of October. I think I got paid like half, not even the full salary, and then the whole of November I went unpaid. So because of that, I was like, I was going through a lot, and I just got robbed. Okay, so after getting robbed, I was like, my mom can still afford to pay the rent, but I couldn't afford to go to work, because I'm going to work and then I'm not going to get paid. Like, I'm spending money on taxi, but I'm not getting paid. So I was like, we need to talk to my boss. So I called my boss and I told him like, no, like I can't keep coming to work and not getting paid because like I'm using my taxi money, which is the only money that I have, because now I've moved now from Mochomese to Grace Block now. And now where I moved to, like the lady that used to pick me up to take me along to work obviously can't drive to that side to pick me up. So yeah, I couldn't go to work because I'm not getting paid. What am I going to do at work with what money and money that I'm not using? Like, yeah. So at this point now, I was living in this new place, and rent in Windhoek is a situation we're not gonna talk about in this video. We'll talk about it in another video. But at this new place I was staying, it was just a whole another situation, you guys. It was another situation, but I was like, you know what? It is what it is. And so I would be home literally for the whole month of November, October, beginning of October or mid-October to literally towards the 25th of November. I was just at home. I wasn't going to work. I was literally unemployed. And yeah, I was unemployed again, and I was just at home getting depressed. Literally, it came to the point where I'm like, should I probably start looking for jobs in Mr. Price Home, Mr. like shops, man, looking for jobs in shops. Like it came to that level. But just waking up, sleeping in this rent place that my mom is paying for, and it is what it is, man. It's what it was. And then on the 25th, when was election, Sapo? Can't check my calendar now. But on election day, November 2019 election day. Okay, so it was the day before election day. My friend calls me again. You guys, you see, I think you guys should be able to see the pattern now. Okay, we'll get to the pattern now. But my friend calls me and she's like, yeah, she's working at this place where she's working. And okay, so in between also, right before in between, like me, when I was still working at the other place now, when I was working at the place where I was getting paid at my first job now, when I was working there, I was like called for interviews, and then you go to the interview and nothing happens, so you just be there waiting. And I think also NSA had their statistics thing out where they were looking for people to do internship but to do census mapping. So I applied for that. So I was hoping for that, and I was going to interviews that were not getting anywhere. But yeah, okay, so in November, I get a phone call from my friend Dapper, and she's like, hi honey, I know you're not having a job right now, but I might be moving to a new place where she's working now. And she's like, I told my boss that I have a friend, like she needed someone to basically replace her right away. So like somebody to take over her work right away. But then the thing is, like, it wasn't a certain thing. Like she wasn't certain if she'll be moving there or not. But just in case she'd be moving there for good, then she'd obviously need someone to go in her place. And so she's like, no, are you able to join me tomorrow? And that was like a public holiday also. The next day was like a election day. So will you be able to join me tomorrow to go to my place so you can go meet my boss and I show you the work that I'm doing and just get you used to what I was doing, just in case you have to come in my place, or like, yeah. So I was like, yeah, sure. And she's like, yeah, but are you not working? I'm like, I don't know if you call being at home and not going to work because you don't get paid to go to work and you don't have taxi money counts as working. Because I was just at home basically answering phone calls and looking for requirements, whatever you call those things, from my boss. So I was like, no, I'm not working. So she's like, okay, cool, fine, join me. And then we went. So the next morning I woke up, got dressed, got all cute and whatnot, and we went to where she was working. And so I meet her boss, and oh my goodness, this guy was like the nicest person ever. He was really nice, and he was like so in love with Dapper. Like, okay, not that kind of love, but he loved Dapper as an employee. Like she was his, what do you call that? His not favorite employee, because he had other employees, but like, you know, that employee that if you are a boss or whatever, that you are like, I'm skeptical about letting you go because you do such nice work for me. But then the thing is, Dapper had to leave because she was having a bursary scholarship from Roads Authority. So it was the type of thing like, know how bursaries work, the whole like we pay for your school and in the future you're going to work for us, that type of thing. And so it was like she had to go to work for Roads Authority, but then again it was still a thing of like she might go stay or she might not go stay. She might go 2 months or 3 months and then come back, but that might not happen. And then she kind of knew that she was gonna stay, but she didn't know for a fact. So she was like, okay, let's just go. I'll show you what I'm doing. And if it so happens that I have to come back, then obviously you will have to leave. And her boss was like, also, yeah, like, honey, you know, like this is the situation. If she has to leave, she'll be leaving and you'll be helping her. But if she has to come back, then she'll have to come back, and that's just what it is. And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I don't mind helping out. And then so it was also like, obviously he can't be paying us both whatever amount he's paying Dapper. So it was up to Dapper to decide like how she's going to be paying me for helping her. But then Dapper was like, no, honey, we can share my salary. Like we can divide my salary in half for this month, if you don't mind. That's not for November, but for December, because I was just starting at the end of November, right? So I was like, yeah, so for December we'll be sharing her salary half. And I was like, yeah, it's fine, I don't have a problem with that. But then the thing is like, I didn't have taxi money to be going to work at all. And so she's like, no, you can just go talk to him and tell him and he might give you taxi money. And I was like, what? This person is willing to pay me to come to work? Okay. So I was like, okay, like let me take the chance. So I went to him and I went to go tell him and explain the situation. It's like, no, it's fine, it's not a problem. I should just go speak to the finance person and then they'll give me taxi money. And so yeah, I got taxi money for the month of November to go to work. Well, basically November to December, because like it was also December. We all know in Namibia companies close early, and so they were closing around the, I don't know, 12 or something like that, but they were closing. So I got taxi money from 25th of November to maybe the 14, 15, I don't know what day they closed in December. So yeah, so I would go to work with Dapper, basically help Dapper out with her work. She would show me what she's doing, where her work is stored, like just get me oriented. She was getting me oriented with her job before she left. And then in January, Dapper left. Month and came. Dapper shared her salary with me. You guys, like, I'm grateful for the type of friendships that I have, and I'm grateful for the type of relationships I was actually able to build with my classmates at the time. And until today, we are all friends. So we're just the closest people. Like, yeah, I love you guys. If you're watching this, I love you all so much. I love the relationship with both, and yeah. If I was on the other side, I would have also done the same for them, but yeah, that's what they did for me. Anyways, January came. Dapper kind of knew that she was not gonna come back, and so I kind of became an intern, and I was starting to get paid like an intern, but not the type of intern that I was getting paid like then. I was getting paid 1.5 was internship. But here I was getting paid like intern, normal intern salary. Go Google government. If you go Google the Namibian law for an intern salary, that's what I was getting paid. And I was like, yeah, I was happy. Yeah, eventually, obviously, I went from being an intern to now a normal employee that's no longer an intern. And I'm so happy, like, yeah, I'm still working there, and all I can say really is like I'm grateful for the experience, and the life lesson from this whole video that I want everyone to take along is the fact that the journey is not the same for everyone. Like even when I was working at this place, like I got it, like when I started as an intern, like okay, so let's say I started working in November, most of when I started, and then in February I got a call from NSA for the census mapping. I don't know if it was in February or March, but I got a call from NSA for census mapping, and let me tell you, census mapping was paying. Like You guys have to be so wise now with the decisions that you make. Like what seems like it's luxury right now, ne, or in the moment, ne, might not be luxury. So like census mapping was paying. Like it was paying. Like it was literally paying 3 times the amount I was getting paid. And so I was like in the debate with myself, like, do I leave this internship that in the future might become a full permanent job for a census mapping job that is going to pay me a lot of money, that is just gonna, census mapping I think was just gonna be for like 3 or 6 months. And so I was like, am I gonna get paid a lot of money in 6 months and then that money goes away? And by the way, census mapping is not necessarily GIS experience. Like I was like, I won't even be picking up Violet GIS experience. Whereas here, where I'm getting paid 3 times less than the amount that I would be getting paid from census mapping, I'm actually picking up experience in what I studied. But I was like, oh, do I go for the money? Do I go for the experience? I was just like, I was like stuck. Like I was in my head and I was just thinking. And so I called my mom and she got me in touch with like a friend of hers, like a principal at her school, that's like also like, no, just give me advice. And so I talked to him and I spoke with him and he was just like, I don't know, like at the end of the day the decision is going to be yours. Are you gonna stay for experience? Are you gonna go for a short-term finance? So I was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna stay for experience. So I declined the NSA's offer and I stayed here where I am for the experience. And guess what? Literally, the people, one of my colleagues also, where I was now interning, where I'm working now at the new place, he was also called for census mapping and he decided to leave. And so I was like, we were two that were called, my colleague decided to leave. So I was like, let me just stay. So that now, because we are both leaving, it's just like, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna stay, I'm not gonna leave. So I stayed. So guess what happened? Literally, so I think that census mapping phone call was in February because COVID in Namibia became a thing in March. Yeah. So literally a month after that, COVID came, census mapping was cancelled, and can you imagine what would have happened to me if I literally left this new internship that I just started just because I wanted to go get paid more elsewhere, and then that thing ends up cancelling because literally everyone that went for that thing was dropped, like nothing happened to them. No communication to like, no, we are gonna give you a few money here and there, since literally everything came falling down. COVID happened and the situation just went downhill real fast. Okay, no, I'm not laughing at the other people. I don't know why I'm laughing, but I'm just like, I got so lucky. Like, what if I left that job and then that happened? Then where would I have been today? So you really have to be careful with the decisions that you are making. You have to be a smart thinker. Like in my experience, choosing experience over finance worked out for me. It might not work out for the next person, but I would honestly say that if you are gonna get experience in what you studied for, if you have an offer on the table, get experience in what you studied for or get a lot of money. Honestly speaking, I don't know what your life situation is. Maybe you have a child that you have to take care of, a family that you have to take care of. I don't know your situation, but for my situation, I didn't have a child. I didn't have anyone to take care of. My mom was pretty much taking care of me at the point, and I was able to take care of myself without having my mom take care of me with what I was getting paid at the time. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay for the experience, and I think I made a smart decision. So the rest of the lesson that I learned, the first lesson. The other lesson also would be like, do not compare yourself to other people. Like, just because your colleagues got a job now doesn't mean that we're not gonna get a job. It doesn't mean that, okay, you are a loser or you are a failure. It just means that it's not your time yet. And it just means God might have another plan for you. That was not your plan, that wasn't your time, and you just never know. I'm happy right now, and I look back to the situation where my friends all got a job in NSA and I didn't get that job because I didn't submit my CV at NSA at the time. And I'm like, at the time I was sour, like I was like beating myself down for it, and I was like, why didn't I do that as well? But through the process, I got a nice job. I got a stable job, at least for now. And yeah, today, okay, guys, don't take this the wrong way. It's just a teaching moment. But my friends that went to go work at NSA right now, NSA decided they worked for NSA like literally an entire year, the whole of 2020, and all the way to February or May 2019, 2021. And now they are all basically, they were let go. I don't know, maybe because of finances or contract situations. Like, I don't know what the situation was with that, but they were let go. And so I could have also been them, and I could have been here now without a job, also trying to figure it out, or I could have been lucky and gotten another job immediately, like some of them did. But yeah, that's the situation. Like, your experience is going to be unique to you. And just because things are not happening right away doesn't mean they're not gonna happen. And don't give up. Try whatever thing you have to, whatever hustle you have to do, whatever thing you have to do to keep you busy and keep your mind off the situation of I'm broke. If you have to start a business, do that. Like, don't just sit at home and beat yourself down and feel better about your situation, because unfortunately we are in Namibia. That's just the situation. Jobs are scarce and things are happening. We are in COVID now as well, and it's just everything is going down the drain. But it doesn't mean that you can't get up from it. It doesn't mean that another situation that's gonna work out for you is gonna come along. It's not happening now, right? But it doesn't mean it's not gonna happen. So yeah, I think that's my lesson from this video. If you enjoyed this video, give it a huge thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and join the family. Let me know what other videos you'd like to see from me. Thank you guys so much for coming back to another video. Love you all. Bye.